There was no awards celebrating Nollywood. That was one of the motivation for starting Best of Nollywood Award 17 years. After we did the 2011 edition, I wanted to give up because the debt was so much. We had not paid the brothers of the black guy. The guy met me. He met me so, and he actually slapped me. We did a movie on the president, but they asked their lawyer to write us. And the following morning, I was in front of the now president. President at that time was candidate.
Did you get a lot of backlash because
I did.
our president is a little bit controversial?
I did. There were people said I've been paid
being sponsored. Would you say this was calculated? Because it was during an election, you know there was a possibility that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win the election for you to do a movie on him.
I always tell people, what we are doing is show business. So if you are doing show business, you have to also make calculated moves.
Welcome to another episode of Building Wealth with Femi. In this podcast, we invite professional, seasoned entrepreneurs to discuss about how they build their businesses. We're supposed to learn from them, from their challenges and their wins. Today, we have a special guest. He's a filmmaker, a journalist, a storyteller, and somebody that documents history with films. His name is Mr. Seun Oloketuyi.
Thank
How are
you,
you doing, sir? It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm so good to be here.
I did a little bit of reading about you, and I saw you started your career as a journalist. Was that right?
Yes, I did. I started out as a celebrity writer. I was writing for City People when I was still in school. Then from City People, when I left school, I went to work with Fame magazine. At that time, Fame was like the halo of Nigeria.
I remember City People and Fame.
Yeah. So I was in Fame, and I rose to become the society editor then. But I was also very interested in the arts because when I was in City People, I started out their movie page where we write weekly about what is happening in the movie industry. That was how I got interested in the movie industry. So when I was leaving Fame, I decided to start a publication on Nollywood. So I called it, when I was leaving Fame, I wanted to start a publication, and I knew that I could not do a publication that could stand toe to toe with Fame and City People in terms of we didn't have the financial capacity to do that. And I know that at that time, a lot of times the magazines relied on what is happening in the movie industry to sell their magazines. Also, even at that time, the daily newspapers, most weekend, they had very big interviews on a movie star to try to sell their. So I thought about it. Why can't we have a magazine dedicated just for Nollywood? So that was how we started Best of Nollywood magazine. It was a monthly, and we were relying then on both on subscription and to survive. And it was doing well at that time. Then it was like a year or so after that a lot of people started going online, and we didn't want to be caught on our wares. So we started the online edition. So we had the online edition, we had the monthly that we were doing. So 1 year into publishing the magazine, it struck me again that there was no publication, there was no awards
Okay.
celebrating Nollywood. There was a AMA Awards
Okay.
there, but AMA Awards is not a Nollywood award. AMA Award is Africa Movie Academy Awards.
What's the difference between Nollywood and movies? I thought it was in the same industry. Yeah.
No, yeah, but what I mean is that AMA was celebrating Africa,
Okay.
but there
Not
was
Nollywood.
no awards
Specifically for Nollywood.
Nollywood. You understand? And at that time, there were three, if I can remember, 3 or 4 awards for movies. There was Hip Hop Award, which now changed to Eddies. There was South City Awards, and there was I've forgotten the third one there. So there was 3 solid awards for music industry, but there was none for the movie industry. Years before we started Born Awards, 2 organizations are trying to do awards for the movie industry. For after about 3 or 4 editions, they usually collapse. So that was one of the motivation for starting Best of Nollywood Award 17 years ago.
Wow.
So we started the Best of Nollywood Award 17 years ago. So after the first edition, I thought of how to sustain it. And we looked at the fact that a lot of state governments likes to associate with Nollywood. So we build it into what is called a traveling award. So instead of the awards being held in Lagos every year, we now decided to be taking it around each state of the federation.
All right. So you were moving from one state to the other for the award event.
Yeah. So the idea then was that it will be funded by the states.
Okay.
Indirectly.
Okay.
You understand? So.
And did the state fund it?
Yeah. Today we've done 17 editions. And in the last 17 years, we've done a Jebode, which was hosted by the state government. Then we've done Delta in 2003. We did Rivers in 2004. 2014, sorry. We did in 2015, we did Kondo. In 2016, we did Abia. In 2017, we did, I think, Oyo. And in 2018, we did Kano.
Interesting. You know, one of the things you mentioned at the beginning was that you didn't have funds.
Yeah.
Right. And this happens a lot with a lot of young businesses and a lot of people that want to start business. They don't have funds. Funds is the biggest thing to start a business. How did you manage to start without much fund? Because you said you didn't have a lot.
What I always tell people is that, okay, I'll give you a very good example. I'm not going to mention it. When we started Born Awards, there was another awards that started, I think, 1 or 2 years after they had all the money. But they didn't survive more than 2 or 3 years.
Why did you think that was?
You understand? I think that the difference between us was that, number 1, we had the passion.
Okay.
Number 2 was the fact that I understood
the business,
not the business, the industry.
Okay.
You understand? Because I had been almost everything in the industry. I had been a writer, a reporter.
Okay.
Before even starting the award, I produced a movie. That was years back. That movie was financed by my parents then. So I'd done everything around the industry. So I understood the industry. And then apart from that, I had the never giving up spirit.
Okay.
I'll give you a very good example. In 2011, that was the edition that was the craziest to organize for us. We didn't have any sponsorship except Indomie. And the sponsorship we had, they gave us the sponsorship, they had not given us money. So it was just sponsorship on paper. Yeah. They were still processing the money. And a night to the awards, I've not paid balance for the venue. I've not paid for the stage and the rest of it. You understand? I remember the person that was helping me to do stage management and the rest. When we were having discussion a night before, and we were thinking of how to solve the problem. Said, why don't we just cancel it? Because he didn't even see it.
Which would have made sense.
Happen.
But you have invited a lot of people.
I said, no. We'll go on, eat it. One way or the other, one of my friends loaned me the money to pay for the venue. This guy now, that who is a politician now, Jide Chando, at that time he had equipment which he uses to rent. He gave me the equipment.
2011 was like 2 years after you started, because the silence I was saying is for the calculation.
Yeah.
At the beginning, how did you fund it? Was it family or friends?
The first edition, I remember that because I was doing so many things. I was doing the awards, I was doing PR, and the rest of it. So I was doing so many.
Within the award, you were wearing many hats.
No, what I mean is
the other businesses
I was doing.
Okay.
So we did the PR business and we were expecting the money. No, the one had not home. Okay. So, but we had already picked dates. We had already made a lot of noise. Right. I'd already paid, I think, half or 3/4 of the money for the venue.
So you didn't have enough money.
You understand? So what I did was I walked up to the owner of Martino's. The man is late now, late Admiral. I've forgotten his name, but he was a retired naval officer. I walked up to him to explain my situation, and he said that at that time I just bought a car. It was a ML then. So he said the only way we could do it was I should drop the ML as a collateral. It will allow us to use the venue and the facilities. Then when I make the payment, I could come back for the car. And I remember that the ML was there for about 2 weeks.
So
afterwards.
So you didn't have everything complete.
Never.
To start this business.
Until maybe 2014. Every year was.
Why did you just wait till everything was, you have the right money, you have all the equipment before you get into the business?
I have discovered that only maybe 1% of those who start business in Nigeria have everything before they start. I think that one of the things that makes us to be Nigerians
and to be an entrepreneur, is that you can take those risks, you can move on without being
it's crazy situation. I remember that after the 2012 edition, we had not paid for the plaque. So we had not paid the balance of the plaque guy. The guy met me he met me somewhere, and he actually slapped me. Somebody there was a place we used to hang out. It's called Femina. So I went there, he came there, and he saw me, and I was a bit smaller. And the guy.
Now you've made money and everything.
And the guy slapped me. You understand? And he got somebody really, really upset. One of our friends. I'm sure that person will not even remember again.
Okay, one of your colleagues.
One of my friends. He got him really, really upset. And he asked the guy, how much is the one? And the guy paid him duty. You understand? You know the funny thing? Years later, when the award was not doing very well,
he came back.
The plaque guy came back.
Was looking for a contract
to beg for him to do the plaque. I would have given it to him, but at that time, we were not bringing in the plaques from abroad. The plaques we use now, we bring them in from abroad. Not because we don't want to support entrepreneurship, but for a long time, we tried a lot of things with the plaques. It didn't work. So, and the most embarrassing part is for you to give somebody a plaque for an award, then the person will meet you months later, say, plaque it come, or the other side. So we wanted to solve that
quality.
I wanted people to look forward. You know how it is, and now I feel happy that when I go to offices of Nollywood people, or I go to their homes, they hang our plaques proudly because it's very beautifully made.
One thing I noticed, about you, is that you can see an opportunity Right. You were a journalist, I know you're hardworking because while you're being a journalist, you did very well and you were moved up at Fame magazine and all that. But you also saw an opportunity that there was something lacking. Seeing an opportunity, people that see opportunity and take advantage of it, do you think they have a special skill?
I think that the greatest obstacle to a lot of people is not wanting to leave their comfort zone. Because I'll give you an example. Not that at some point I was not tempted to go back to paid employment. Because, after we started, it was not all smooth and the rest of it. And then the fact that you can make money in January and not make another money
was not
until March.
and you had expenses and
and then I just
in for money.
I just got married around that time too. I had a daughter that had to be taken care of. I remember one of my aunts, who I'm very, very fond of, called me to the side and said, "You have to go back to paid employment." I said, "Why?" He said, "You cannot have a child and not have a stable employment. That what if you go home tomorrow now and your daughter has malaria? And this is Nigeria where
And you don't have anything in your pocket. Right now.
You have to,
and you don't know where the next...
You have to be calling people." When I got home, I discussed with my wife. And I tell people that one of the reasons why we've achieved so much that we've achieved is because of my wife. Because I think that she sees more than I see. After we did the 2011 edition, I wanted to give up because the debt was so much. And for the next 6 months, everything I was doing, like 80% of it was going into settling debts, and then people were harassing me and the rest of it. So I had a conversation with my wife that I wanted to go back and take paid employment. And I can never forget what she told me that night. I'd even go for the interview at Insight. I'd done the first test and I was supposed to come back for the second. They asked me to come back for the second one. I think to come and talk to someone. She now told me that, "Do you know that if you leave this best of Nollywood now,
You go and start again.
you go and work for someone else, somebody will start this best of Nollywood because they've already seen that there's an opportunity there. And it will now pay you that when that person starts, it will now start, you will now be feel pained that you leave." You understand that? I'm ready to continue to sacrifice you with you. You understand? Don't leave it. So I decided not to leave it.
So without that encouragement,
You understand?
I dumped it.
I was tired because I was being harassed left and right for the people the vendors that we use that I could not be able to pay their money. Then
a few times you spoke about, getting an event place, you don't have enough money to pay before a day before the event. Were you scared?
I'm always scared. But one of the things that I have, a lot of my friends always say it, is that I never give up. I'm always scared, but I don't show that I'm scared. I just move on. I will just believe that something will happen and it will happen. You understand? So in 2012, that was when I began to feel that this will happen. In 2012, one of my big elbow gave me a venue free. That year, I got 2 sponsorships. So that year was a bit...
That was how many years after you started?
That was 2012. Yeah. You understand? That's, I think, the 4th or 5th edition.
And I wanted to ask a question about that. Approaching the government, state government, I don't think it's easy for you to get them to back you. Most times there's a lot of, barriers, even going into their office, civil service.
That's why I say that.
Things. How did you?
How did you get this? It's 2 things. I believe in the God way was part of it. The second thing is I always tell people that there is always somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. One wanted to do the 2013 edition. I knew someone who I know knows the governor of Delta State. So I sent him a message. It was so funny that I was not close to the person. I just sent him a message. And then he said, he now called me and said how much was going to be enough to me. host the award. I gave him a cost. He now said he'll get back to me. He now called me the following day and said, he has spoken to the governor. The governor has agreed on so amount, which was like half of what I was asking for. You understand? And we had the event. After that, the following year, we went to Rivers. That year was when I would say we now started to had a breakthrough in terms of financials. But we do it every year. Okay. So we've been doing it because we've never missed a year. Yeah. Even during the COVID, when most things across the world did not do their event, we had born in Ekiti during COVID.
So you started Nollywood on radio, which was
we metamorphosed into Nollywood on radio. And what we now do is that we even record a radio program and put on a YouTube channel as a podcast every week. You understand? I learned that from Daily Momotti. He's one of my mentors. Daily Momotti always said that the only way where you continue to remain relevant is continue to evolve. So,
and then you evolve.
You understand that if a new thing comes out today, even before his children understands it, he already understands it. And which is true. You see how big a lot of people who are in the media, who are his age, are not big on social media the way he is. Right. He's big on every social media platform you can think of. So that's what we try to do. So we started the radio program. The radio program is over a year now. So what we do is that the radio program holds every Wednesday. So we now record it, and it is put on our YouTube channel every Saturday. You understand? And that's over a year now. You understand?
And
because we understand that people don't read again. People that we are,
and that was the question I wanted to ask you, because I even had that discussion with Daily Momotti about how he evolved from his magazine into social media and all that. How is that affecting you? You know, now that people don't read, but they don't buy everything is online. Everything is digital. Were you started with the physical magazine, right? That's where you started from.
Yeah.
Were you able to evolve, or is that why your magazine is now being phased out?
Well, we have to evolve. You don't have a choice, because I'll give you an example. If a story breaks now, years back, if a story breaks about a celebrity, everybody waits till Tuesday morning when Fame, City People, National Enquirer will come out, bring out their prints. And that time, what he afford those magazines to do is, if a news break now, they'll now look at different angles. Maybe let's say that Mr. A died. How did he die? Are his family fighting over his assets already? This one, that one. Is there a case with the police? So between now and Tuesday, they would have built a big story about it. But at the moment, if somebody dies anywhere in the world now, anywhere in the world, not just in Nigeria, within a span of 1 hour, it's everywhere. Everything has changed. And yes, people are not making money from buying magazines or selling magazines again. But the digital prints, people are still making money. When you post your material on YouTube, if your material is good, if the content is good, you get paid for it. You get paid. A lot of Facebook pages are monetized.
Yeah.
You get paid for it. Same to TikTok and the rest of it. So you just have to evolve the way the world is evolving. Even the major newspapers, all of them, you find them now, they have an Instagram page, they have a channel, so they know that they cannot afford to be left out.
I noticed that you document stories about people.
Yes, I do.
Icons. Why documentary? Why not just the movies?
Okay, I will explain to you. About 4 years ago, I was getting bored with porn. So what did I do? I had about 3 people who had been with us for about 5 years. So I decided to train a successor to take over upon, and I resigned as the executive producer of the award, and she took over. So I moved on to trying to do what I felt that I wanted to do next, which was I felt that most of the time our movies, we are just doing make film movies and the rest of it. If you ask an average 15-year-old child now about Rashidi Yakini, I'm sure it doesn't. So those were one of the things that got us to push us to that thing. So we sat down and said, let's try to do this. And in about 3-4 years, we've acquired rights for so many. We did a movie on the president, which was shown at his.
Did you have to get a rights to do that?
No, we didn't. Okay. It was even very funny. The idea came, and then it was huge. I could not afford to produce it. I shopped for investors. I got an investor. We shot the movie, and during the time we were shooting the movie, Channels Television and TVC and BBC came to interview us. And then suddenly the man was at home and he saw it on the news. And then I'm sure they were worried that maybe it was something
a controversial issue, and which was I would say.
You understand? And so they asked their lawyer to write us. I remember that day I was going to Abuja, and as I was entering the flight, my staff called me and said, we got a letter from the lawyer. I said, which letter? I said, take the picture and send it to me.
Was he already president?
He was president. No, he was.
So that's what 22.
He was candidate.
Okay.
You understand? So I said, send the letter to me. So they sent the letter. In fact, that probably would have been the longest flight I took to Abuja, because by the time she was sending the letter had not come in before we started flying. So I didn't see the letter until I got to
put on your phone,
Abuja. So when I put on my phone and I saw the letter, they were inviting us for a meeting. I was like, what's going on? What's this? So I saw the number of the lawyer there, and I called the lawyer. I was still in the flight, and I called the lawyer. He sent me a letter. My name is so. I said, yes, I've been looking for you. I said, really? I said, I'm just getting to Abuja. When I get to, he said, I'm in Abuja. You understand? And he said, okay, come and see me tonight. Okay. I was a bit worried. So I called a few people who knew the lawyer. So one of them called us, why is he scared? So that one of the person I called, who is also a senior advocate, said, you know what? I've asked him to come to my house. So me, you will not be scared to come to my house. Come to my house. So the guy came to the person's house and said, no, that he just wanted to see what we were doing.
Correct.
And the rest of the, and that he has insisted that I bring you to him. And so by the following morning, I was in front of the now president. President at that time was candidate. And we had a meeting. He said he just wanted to thank us. Right. And that he was just shocked that somebody could take that on without being commissioned to do it. And that the only thing is that they want to watch the movie before we release it.
Yeah, which is natural. So did you get a lot of backlash? Because,
I did.
Our president is a little bit controversial.
I did. There were people who said have been paid.
Being sponsored.
There were people who said, you are not supporting APC. Why are you doing a movie on...
we're not supporting APC.
Why are you doing a movie on Ashwaju? In fact, there is a certain person who refused... because what we did was that after the movie, we did a big premiere in Abuja, which was 2 days to his swearing. We did a big premiere at the conference center, the National Conference Center in Abuja, where we encourage people to buy tables to come and watch the movie. Then we said, you didn't support us, so we are not going to buy tables and rest of it. And there were people who saw the work as work of art. And because of that, they came out was a successful one. In fact, at this moment, I'm saying it for the first time anywhere, we are putting together the part 2 of the movie, which is last part 2. Is going to be a chronicle of what he has gone through in the last 4 years. You understand? So, but I was not bothered.
Would you say this was calculated because it was during election? You know, there was a possibility that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win the election. Would you say this is a calculated move for you to do a movie on him?
Well, if I always tell people, what we are doing is show business.
Right.
So if you're doing show business, you have to also make calculated moves at some time. You understand?
You made another one on Yahaya Bello. Why Yahaya Bello?
And then why not Yahaya Bello? One of the things I noticed is that controversy sells. Okay. Immediately we made the movie on Yahaya Bello. Even before the first camera rolled, and this guy tweeted that I just got a script to play Yaya as Yaya Bello. I didn't know the movie is going to be produced by Seun Oloketuyi. I can tell you that day I had over 1,000 increase in my numbers of followers on Twitter. They abused me. You understand? But I was not
part of the
moved
business.
a bit. That was one of the most successful premieres I've done. And Yaya Bello had a good story to tell.
You are now an established filmmaker, entrepreneur, you've done business for years, you know. What would you tell your younger self?
Advice for young people. No. For you to come into filmmaking and be successful, there are 3 or 4 things that I always think that it's right. Number 1, you must always have a niche.
You can't do everything. You don't have to be everywhere.
You must always have a niche.
It's a special
niche for yourself.
Why would you say that?
Because if you don't create a niche for yourself, you just be like just any other person. When Katri started with putting films on YouTube, people thought she was crazy. You cannot mention 5 people in Nollywood that has good, stable income without mentioning her. She's not making money in Naira. She's making good money in dollars. You understand? I'll give you another example. Mary Njoku, she has everything it takes to make a movie and take to the cinema. But she has stayed on to making movies for TV, telemovies. So you must have a niche. You understand? That's 1. 2, you must be detailed. Because sometimes you never get another chance to impress those who will see your work. And then number 3, you must also know the business. A lot of...
but it takes time to
know the business.
Why not start knowing
it is changing
at the beginning?
It is changing because a lot of young people coming are very educated. So those are the advice I will give young people.
So what's the future of Born?
My dream is in 2-3 years, just working to Born just like every other person. Have fun, and at the end of the day, the following morning, I get an alert. Okay. I don't know how they did it, but I just get an alert, and then I get an email totaling how the money came in, how it was spread, and how I was able to get that money. So the dream is I want it to be self-sustaining. What we are doing now is to now use that brand name to try to create some other big things. For example, this year, Born, we are going to break the world record for the longest red carpet in the world. Next year, they want to do, they are talking to a state government already to try to have a Nollywood Walk of Fame in Nigeria. I see it being an institution that will live in, an institution that will continue to, because I know that Nollywood will not die. So Nollywood will continue to need an award system. Initially, when we started, we used to pay people to submit their movies.
But now,
people,
the tables have turned.
When they see me, they'll say, when is Born opening? Please remind me. Please, you understand?
A big thanks to you, Mr. Oloketuyi, for coming and giving us an insight into your journey. It was really very educative. I'm Femi Rogers. Keep building wealth.